Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work. Grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work. Grind, shine, never mind who talking down.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee and frequent guest hosts Hollis Lewis and Lisa Otey, where sports, culture, and community intersect. Join the crew as they dive into engaging conversations with guests from all walks of the sports life. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. FrankWalkerLaw.com, and by the all-new historic Quarrier Diner in downtown Charleston, online at QuarrierDiner.com. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk with Carl Lee, and today I have one of my co-hosts in the building, Lisa Otey.
Hello.
And we have a guest. And I'm hoping that he's probably going to be able to hear this part of it. That I have to give him his due. One, he's going into the Hall of Fame. And then the other side of it was in my view, he was really, really, really one of the best receivers that I've ever gone against. But I just couldn't
I would say that.
I can't give him his due.
Come on now.
I hate to have to give him his due, but trust me, during this conversation, he will probably make sure he gets it. So I'd like to introduce Sterling Sharpe.
Yay. Hello, Sterling.
Hi, how you doing, Lisa?
Good, how are you?
Bro, we're going to have to work on your intro, okay? There was a lot more you were supposed to say that you didn't say, okay?
No, well, okay. All right, hold on for a second.
I can provide a much better intro for Mr. Sharpe.
See, because I couldn't give it to you.
Lisa.
Yes, I surely can. I surely can, Sterling.
I raised Carl. He knows.
Did you raise him right? I'm not sure.
He knows what I did in junior high school and high school. He knows. He left that out. So why are you trying to minimize it, man?
My goodness.
I had already prepared myself that this, I can't actually give you a whole lot of credit and due. So Lisa has. I want to make sure that the folks know.
I have a nice introduction.
Yes, I want to make sure that she can give you your proper one, because I can't give it to you.
Being thrown at all.
I wouldn't feel good giving it to you. So just sit back and listen and let Lisa do her job right here.
So our esteemed guest, Mr. Sharpe, Sterling Sharpe, he was drafted in the first round of the NFL in 1988, 7th overall, correct? 7 years span in the NFL. You were one of the the only two players to achieve at least 500 receptions and 7,000 receiving yards in a 6-year span. And the other one was Jerry Rice. So you are in quite esteemed company. You had, Mr. Sharpe, 540 receptions for 7,343 yards during that period. You also were invited to the Pro Bowl more than Carl. 5 times.
He was lucky.
And you also, there's a comparison that we could do with Jerry Rice, one of your comrades that you played with in the NFL. He may have outpaced you with receiving yards, but you, Mr. Sharpe, led him in receptions and touchdowns. Much better introduction.
Lisa, while I appreciate what you did, you were talking way too fast.
I need to slow it down, huh?
Slow down. I mean, I was trying to take it all in. But
you should.
So fast. I'm like, if I had 7,000 yards, well, 4,000 of them were against Minnesota. And
yes.
I don't want to call. I ain't calling anybody names because I don't like putting people business in the street.
You have to tell him, Carl.
See, bro, I'm gonna give you this. I'm going to give you this just because this is like, you know, a show that, you know, we bring people on. We want to try to give them their props, and you know, and I get this question all the time: who's the best receiver that you win against? And everybody, the first person that they say is like Jerry Rice, and I'm like, no, you know, he was a great receiver. We shut him down one year, he blow us up the next year, you know. So it was that kind of thing. But the one thing that I can honestly say, and as much as I hate giving any due, what bothered me about you and made me realize, like, how does this dude do this? We're in the huddle. He comes running through our huddle telling us, I don't even know why you guys are huddling up. You're just going to play man-to-man and blitz everybody, right? And like and I'm sitting there and I'm lined up over him, and he's like, bro, don't worry about it. It's a run. It's a run. And don't talk to me. I can't play that way. Like, I can't play.
I love head games.
I can't play like, you know, I'm that intense guy. Like, I got to be thinking step, punch, make sure I get my hands on him. This guy is sitting there laughing and having the best time playing at the highest level. And to me, that bothered me. And now that I'm saying it on air and telling people, I think I even dislike it even more.
Oh my goodness!
I thoroughly enjoyed it because Minnesota was one of the teams where I had a lot of guys that would have, and I call it having fun with me, because this, Lisa, I hope your audience knows this is the only thing I ever wanted to do. Like, I didn't have a contingency plan for not making it to the NFL.
Sure.
There was no, I'm going to fall back and do this. So when I played, I enjoyed every single snap. And I would walk in their huddle and be like, oh, well, that last defense didn't work down the field. Y'all get ready to call that. I wouldn't call that defense. But there was so many guys that were great players that knew what they were doing, that were comfortable in who they were, that would talk with me. Richard Denton, Chicago, was one. I love Scott Studwell.
Played for the Vikings.
Johnny Randall.
Yeah.
The late Chris Dolman. You know who was real? Al Noga was real. He was a real football player.
Yes, he was. And you know, he gets no credit, though.
He was a real football player. And while he didn't have the name, because he played on a defense with some outstanding talent with, you know, Keith Millard and Henry Thomas and those guys,
yep,
he was one that would quietly talk with me. And what I loved about what I did, and I tell people I talked, but I never made it public and I never made it personal. It was always to get us through these 4 quarters. When we were done, hey, man, stay healthy. We'll see you in a month, or we'll see you in 2 months, or whatever the case may be when we played against teams in our division. But I enjoyed talking with the people that I got a chance to line up against.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. When did you know like coming out of college, being drafted super early in the first round, and all of that. Because to what you said, I was the same guy. I was the exact same guy. Bro, I didn't have no fallback. My whole intentions were to play in the league.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
League. And if I didn't play in the league, hey, I'll have to figure that out. But I'm giving everything I got to playing in the league. When did you figure out like that the league, you could play in this league, and not only could you play, but you could be good, great, and now a Hall of Famer? When did you know that? How long did it take you to figure that out?
I never figured that out. Never. Carl, and I was one. I came in highly touted because I got drafted. I was 7th in the first round in a draft with 6 receivers. Tim Brown went in front of me. Michael Irvin went behind me. So there were 6 of us in the first round. I never figured it out. My whole thing was, and I've said this 1,000 times since being selected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I never wanted anything else. When I played football, it wasn't about the team success, my success, going to the Pro Bowl. Oh, Jerry's got 50, Chris Carter's got 50 catches. I got 49. I got to do. No, I was playing. Man, I was a kid, and I was like, I'm enjoying every single snap of this. And it's so funny that you asked that question, because when my career ended, there was only one person happier that I wasn't playing football anymore, and that was the doctor. He was the only person that was more happy than me that I wasn't playing anymore. Because I was like, I did what I wanted to do. I didn't ask God to play for 15 years. I didn't ask God to win 5 Super Bowls. I didn't move the goalposts and say, I want to be a 6-time All-Pro and a 7-time Pro Bowl. No, I just want to play. And I got a chance to lead the league in catches my second year in the league. I got to go to the Pro Bowl with some outstanding talent, and you get a chance to watch and learn and adapt and adjust and to steal from those players. Man, I never figured out what a good player was at my position. I knew Jerry Rice was the best I'd ever seen at my position, but I didn't know. I never figured out that I was one of them. Never dawned on me.
Okay, so when you get to the Pro Bowl, now this is me, okay, and I'm trying to figure this out. When you talk about that, when you go to the Pro Bowl and you're looking at the guys that's at your position, so I'm looking at the corners, and it's nothing but bump and run corners, and I'm trying to figure out what do they do, how do they do it, how does it compare to me, and for me, like, I was interested in trying to figure out, am I better than that guy, or what? So are you saying to me, or in that spiel there, that at the Pro Bowl, in games, it didn't bother you about the other receivers. You didn't judge them. You just did your thing.
Nope. No, Carl, I learned when you're an old Georgia farm boy, when you're working on the farm. My grandfather used to ask me to say this, being a military guy. Carl, I say this every day, every morning. This is my life. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Now, I can live my life your way. I can live my life Lisa's way, but am I living my life? And so when I played, and I'll let you in on some things, in my growth as an NFL receiver, I had technicians, I had philosophers, John Gruden was the first guy to make me study the other receivers, which was really fun. My last 2 years in football, I had John Gruden as a position coach for 2 years. My last 2 years in football, every route I ran, I was someone else. Because, okay, we're playing Tampa. They played Chris Carter last week. So you're going to be in the slot a lot. Look at Chris and how he runs this route, in this route. So against Tampa, when we played them, I was Chris Carter. When we played New England, I was Andre Reed working the middle. When we played Detroit, I was Michael Irvin because Dallas had played them the week before. So I never really learned to study other players until John Gruden. And it's funny. When I had Buddy took me as high as I could. I went to 2 Pro Bowls under him, led the league once. I got Sherm Lewis. I was fortunate enough with my teammates to win the Triple Crown with Sherm, lead the league in catches. I led the league in catches for John Gruden. They all took my game to another level. And it was almost like when my game, the football god said, your game is not going to get any better. It's time for you to go. Because all I wanted to do was play. So I never really got caught up in the numbers or the accolades or the actions. And let me tell you, I never understood how me and you can play on the same team. We can win the same games. We can lose the same games. But at the end of the year, you're the MVP. Wait, what? How do we do that? And then if I try to be the MVP, now I'm selfish. So I never liked recognition. And you've known me forever. I still don't. I never liked recognition because there are too many people that have to do their jobs semi-well for you to have a successful play. Offensively, it used to be 4 yards was a successful play. You tried to get somewhere around 8 yards for a successful play in the pass game. So I never liked that. So I never interested myself in numbers. You know, I always was like, hey, I'm playing. This is what I'm doing. That's why I never missed a game. There were times where I probably shouldn't have played. And I think if I would have stopped playing against Atlanta when I had the worst severe ankle injury of my career, I probably would have played another 5 more years, but I didn't pay attention to what I was there for, and that was to play. So I love playing football, man. I really did. And when I got to Pro Bowls, you probably helped me more because I watched how you guys treated me. You had been in the league for, 4, 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
And the way you guys treated me was like, you know what? Man, we had our 2 battles. You know what? We played against each other, home and home. We're the best of the best in the NFC. We here.
Yeah.
We're going to enjoy each other. We're going to enjoy ourselves. My first Pro Bowl, John Robinson, was our head coach. LT said, I got a tea time in 20 minutes. we were stretching.
Oh, man.
We were stretching.
Oh, wow.
And I think our practice lasted 17 minutes. And that's when the Pro Bowl was like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because it was 5,000 to the loser and 10,000 to the winner. And back in those days, you know, coin was hard to come by. So you got your head knocked off in the Pro Bowl. And there was no apologies made. So I enjoyed I'll say this to end that, Carl. I think the biggest thing I learned was you have to learn to follow before you can lead.
Oh,
and
like that.
Watching you guys and how you did your business when it was, you know, you might be talking to somebody behind the huddle, but in one-on-one, when it was time to go, bro, you were locked in. And when I watched Jerry run a route, Jerry had just won a Super Bowl, so they had played a heck of a lot of games more than we played. And he was like, oh, man, I'm so tired, man. I'm going to let you young guys have all these reps. And he did one-on-one, and he was shot out of a cannon. And I was like,
hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
wow. What that's showing me is he's letting us know he's the best at what he does. Now, where does that fit in, or does that affect me? No, it doesn't. Because I'm my own standard. And when I was my own standard, I never failed. Now, I could fail being Jerry Rice, and I could fail being Chris Carter, and I probably have failed being Andre Reed or Michael Irvin. I ain't ever failed athletically at being Sterling Sharpe. I've always been a really good Sterling Sharpe.
I like it.
And to that Pro Bowl situation and meeting you, my purpose in getting to know certain people was the guys like that I played against and guys that I felt like I enjoyed playing with, and they kind of also gave me some kind of a feel like we could be cool. So getting to know you was like an easy thing. And bro, we like hung out the whole time.
Yeah.
But that was like that. But for whatever good that you felt it was, you know, you got to look and I was a dude coming out of Marshall University. I wasn't even supposed to even be on a team, more or less be in a Pro Bowl.
You know, I used to say that. Is this dude still here?
You're not supposed to agree with me on that. But I truly enjoyed that was probably the best thing. The Pro Bowl's probably, at least back in our day, was one of the best ways to get to know guys. And I felt like in that situation we found ourselves and buddied up, and the rest of our career playing against each other was always fun.
That, you know, when I said follow and lead, when I would watch you guys interacted with each other, it was never, I did this to you, or I'm better at this than you. And I would always look and be like, you know what? The older guys just enjoy being around other guys.
Yeah.
I came in the league at the time where I don't have to show you what I'm doing and how I'm doing, because I'm going to tell you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. When I watched you older guys interact in the LTs and the Singletaries and the Dents and, you know, the Jerry Rices, John Taylor was on that, one of my favorite receivers to watch. I was amazed at how much respect not was earned but was given to everybody that was in that room. You know, when we were getting dressed for practice, I'm watching how this offensive lineman with a Redskin helmet is talking to that offensive lineman with a Bear helmet. And I'm watching how this defensive back with a Redskin helmet is talking to a dude who plays in Minnesota. And I was just like, I love that. Those guys respect each other's craft. And I don't know what each one of them did to get here. But the thing is it was enough for them to get here. And I always, and so I tried to be, when I went back the next year, I tried to be that way with the younger guys, like, hey, man, enjoy this. watch guys. Just pay attention, because you're going to see so much that you may think you know or want to be, and you're going to find out that your best is actually good enough.
That's great.
You know, you don't have to do any more. You don't have to be any more. You don't have to really let people know how good you are or talk about your game, because those of us who play football, we know football. We know players. And that's all I cared about. I wanted a guy to see me. He's sitting with his son in church, and he sees me, and he'd be like, "Hey, son, I played against that guy right there, and he was hell." That's all I've ever wanted.
That's perfect.
The rest of it, I appreciate. I appreciate the Hall of Fame. I really appreciate being the first brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
But
That's
I
huge.
appreciated the guys that saw me play, played with me, and played against me. I appreciate the things that they had and have to say about how I was as a player and how I played the game.
Hey, Sterling, I just have a quick question for you. And I'm sure Carl's really going to enjoy this question because we all know that he is a closet Packer fan. Go, Pack, go. He is. I know, right? I mean, I wear my hat because I'm a huge Packer fan. I didn't know if you knew that, but I'm a huge Packer fan. And so when I wear my shirt or my hat, I've been given a dress code now for podcasts, just so you know. But anyway, so you were part of that, the Packers' so-called rebirth in the 90s, and you played alongside Brett Favre. You were part of bringing back the traditions of winning at Lambeau Field. Just tell us a little bit about how that felt. Walk us through that time period for you.
Okay, for me, when I got there, we weren't really good.
Right.
That's not my job. My job is not to look out and say we're not very good. My job is to, when we call 50 bend in or X turn Z choose, be where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. We got better when we got hope.
Yes.
When I first got there, I came in at the tail end of the old guard. Whereas if you made the team in September, you were on the team all year.
Mm-hmm.
And guys would do everything they could to make the team, but you kind of didn't get that same energy and excitement once they made the team. When I got Mike Holmgren, two things happened. There was hope because he brought a system that allowed many of us to not have to change or adapt who we were. I don't need motivation to go out and rip Carl's jersey off for a catch. I did that one
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I don't need motivation for that. There was a play called, I got to get somewhere. He's standing there. Okay, it's his versus mine. When Mike Holmgren brought that system, I got to watch every route that Jerry Rice and John Taylor ran. But more importantly, I got to see what the other people got to do. Mike Holmgren gave me ownership of that system. Mike would ask me during a game, hey, what are they doing out there? Coach, they're doing a lot of the same things. We're getting straight up bumper run on first down. They're doing a lot of off. I got the safety trying to run underneath a slant or an out on second down. So what do you like? And I'm standing there going like, wait, what? And what I learned from Mike Holmgren, and I don't think I've ever said this publicly, I learned that in leadership, you don't have to be out front. You can be in the back and be the leader. Because if you're in the back and you're the leader, you get to see what everybody else is doing. And Mike would give me ownership and would just, as a coach, as a head coach, and he called the plays, he would talk to me like we were standing in line at Starbucks. and we would be doing this during the game. I would always sit on the bench, put a towel over my head, and enjoy the crowd. Because remember, all I want to do is play. So I would sit and be like,
Hi, I'm Richard Karn. and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
If I were a fan, what would that be like? Because I'm not a football fan. But if I were a fan, I would watch games and be like, wow, that was, okay, would I stand up? Oh, I'm going to spill my beer. I see a guy drop a hot dog. I'm doing all this during the game. And Mike Holmgren would come over, or he would get on the headset and tell me to get on the phone. And then he would say, come and stand next to me. And I would go stand over, and he would just talk to me, just like me and you are talking right now. So when I got hope, I got a really good system, and then I got ownership. I'm speaking for me personally. I got ownership of that system. And I know what Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen felt in the triangle offense in Chicago. I know what Steph Curry and KD felt in the triangle system in Golden State. I know what the late Kobe Bryant felt being in that system in L.A. I know what that feels like. When you only have to focus on being yourself, that alleviates a whole lot of mental gymnastics that slow you down from being the best player you can be.
And to that point, bro, like Pete Carroll was my coach. And when he came, prior to him coming, like they didn't even know really what to do with me. But then Pete puts us in the bump and run, teaches us all the steps and punch and all that kind of stuff. And to your point of whether you make a mistake or, like I learned like what the punch, read the route based on how he's pressing back up against me, all of those kinds of little techniques. And I'm like thinking, well, wait a minute. I kind of like this, and I think I can learn this, and I can get good at this. And I can remember getting beat, rarely, especially if we're playing the Packers.
Oh,
I would go to the sideline and, and Pete would, look at you and say, what happened? Oh, okay. Just fix it. And in that process, he's walking away.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking, well, I was expecting to get maybe yelled at, or I was looking to get somebody to start from the beginning and give me the whole. But what that is that's you being accountable.
You got ownership now.
Yeah,
you got ownership.
Yes, I gave it to you, and now you have to be the one to do it. And if you can't make it work, I can't do it.
Yes.
And I think I think that is something that I think coaches today, they don't understand. I think they kind of buy into the idea that my coaching is going to be the thing that's going to get you any success and or make us win. No.
Okay.
That player's got to be accountable.
Let's look at what Kansas City's doing. Andy Reid was in Green Bay with me.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know all of their new verbiage, but I know most of it. The system, Philadelphia. I don't know all of Philly's calls, but I know most of it. The system allows you to not have to change who you. What did Jalen Hurts do that he did was so different that he did at Alabama or at Oklahoma? Nothing. He looks just like the same guy because the system allows him to play his way confidently. And so the thing about a mistake is it's only a mistake if you do it twice. It ain't a mistake if you do it one time. It's only a mistake.
That's interesting.
Only a mistake if you do it twice. Now, Carl, if you play bump and run and you let me grab the outside of that jersey and yank it down over your shoulder pad, and you go over to the referee and be like, "Ref, my shirt wasn't like this when the play started. It's only a mistake.
Lisa,
you let it happen again."
Lisa, let me explain this
Oh, my
play.
goodness.
Let me explain this play. And
All I know is you were jerseyless.
Yeah, and this should have been the end of our relationship, right?
Oh boy!
So it really and truly should have.
Yes, it should have. So I'm pressed up against him, and he shakes, and I reach my arm out to punch to get to his shoulder, and he grabs me. And literally, pulls my jersey, almost over my helmet.
Defensive line swim move.
No. And
I'm guessing that was part of the system.
What? Yeah, that's part of his system. So he takes off. It's a great throw. He dives and catches. I try to dive. I'm about 4 yards behind him. I'm lunging forward. He makes the catch. I get up, and I'm looking at the official, and I'm like, how did my jersey get like this? Because my whole shoulder pad is showing.
Yeah.
And you're saying, yes, that's cheating,
Was
bro.
this at Lambeau or was this?
This was in Minnesota.
Okay.
Oh, no, I thought it was. Yeah. So then, okay, it makes it even worse. It makes it even worse
We're on the same sideline.
because you all had the officials.
We were on the same sideline.
That's
and
right.
So I was just like, bro, I'm sorry.
There was no sorry. There was no sorry in that.
I was thinking it, bro. You read the mind, bro. Read the mind. I was thinking it.
I love it.
That's probably the worst play, and/or for sure the one play I will never, ever, ever forget. And I don't even know if it's just because we're friends now or just because it was like, how did somebody do this to me?
I will tell you this. Eric Allen, who is also a 2025 member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I did it to him too. And he said the exact same thing you said. Mr. Fisher, my jersey wasn't like this when the play started.
But you don't feel like no kind of like you don't feel bad about this? We well past our game. You could say you're sorry.
Who won the game?
You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
When I get off the phone, I'm going to go to my little prayer chair. I'm going to pray about it. Okay, I'm going to feel good. You know what?
He's doing the Lord's work.
You might be right, but I'm going to go in my little prayer chair, and I'm going to sit down and have a talk. And like I said, it's only a mistake if you do it twice.
But who won the game, Sterling? Who won the game?
They won the game.
Oh, no. Okay.
Wait a minute. I believe they won the game.
Okay.
I think they won the game.
Well, you'd think Carl would remember that.
No, all I remember is the play.
Okay. Oh, no.
I don't. You know what? And to that question of who won, do you remember a lot of games that you won or lost? I don't either.
I never concerned myself with winning and losing.
That's more of a fan thing, isn't it? It's more of a fan thing.
That wasn't my job.
Right.
I mean, I didn't bring in this defensive line from Kansas City. I didn't bring in this linebacker from Pittsburgh. So I don't know how how they are going to figure into helping us be better than we were a week ago, a month ago, or a year ago. I never concerned myself with winning and losing. I couldn't. I was so giddy that I had fooled them for another week that I get to play, and people think that I'm making this up, and I'm like, no, y'all.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra durable pocket hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free pocket pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
I don't understand. You see, and that's all I ever wanted to do was play. Now, I don't know how I'm going to achieve this, but I know I'm on the right path because I'm playing high school football. I know I'm on the right path because I'm playing college football. Okay, now I'm in the NFL. I don't have to stay here. I don't have to stay here 10 years. I don't have to stay here for 20 years. I guess what? I just want to play. So if it's to play for 2 years, you may say, well, your career was cut short. Well, based on who? Once again, this is my life. There are many like it, but this one is mine. And I think where we fall short as sports fans is we are so quick to pin my expectations on you.
True.
And so I don't know. I used to hear stories about how Jerry trained, and I would be like, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there are days in this South Carolina heat, and Carl, you and I used to do my football camp for the 7, 8, 10 years I did it.
Yep.
And we would work out during lunch. And in this South Carolina heat where it's 105 and 115, the humidity, and Carl's like, yeah, we're going to run 8 200s, we're going to run 800s, and we're going to run 650s. And I was like, bro, I thought the Santa Monica Track Club was in California. What are we doing? But I'm like, oh, so this is how this is how he's training. Well, if he's training this way, he ain't training to tackle. He ain't training to score touchdowns. He training so he can do battle with you. I'm learning something. And so now I got to watch him and Leroy Butler talk about how they split and how they're trying to use the outside hand and bump, how they're trying to force you. So when you start to pick up on nuanced stuff and you have the ability, and when I say ability, I'm not talking about the skill set. I'm saying just the ability of going, oh, so that's what you don't want me to do. Well, my job is to figure out how to get there. You don't want me inside? Then I got to get there. So it's no longer, it's a lot less physical and it's more mental. And I learned so much from football camps, listening to we talking about football, Pro Bowls, getting an opportunity. I got a chance to, I think my first autograph session was in Minnesota because Carl was like, hey, man, we're having an autograph session up here and the guy want a Green Bay Packer. Can you make it? What do you do at an autograph session? you sign autographs. Oh, because I never did that in person in Green Bay. I never signed autographs in person. I never said no because no eliminates options. I never said no. I always said not right now.
Not right now. Oh, wow.
Because no, don't, won't, and can't eliminates options. I never said those words. And so awesome. I learned more so how to lead by following. And what I realized is by following, I was actually leading. And it's kind of a weird dynamic. And my brother has brought this to my attention on several occasions because I never really taught my brother anything. I never really showed my brother anything. I never really told him, I think, only 2 times what he was going to do in our life. But he was watching, and I never paid attention to that. So I was so thankful that I was watching based on being what I would consider a good follower and learning to follow my grandfather, my grandmother. My mom did a tremendous job. My mom doesn't get anywhere near the credit by letting us leave Chicago and go live in Georgia with our grandparents. People don't understand what that dynamic is like when you get a chance to get out of the hustle and bustle and get somewhere slow where you didn't have chores. It was who you were. You had ownership. And I say that all the time. I'm so glad that I had ownership. I didn't own any hogs or any tobacco or any corn or any soybeans, but I had ownership of every one of those fields that we worked in. And when you have, and Carl and I used to have Bible talks all the time when I would be in Charleston, and we would go to service and come back and tear the service apart, the lesson or the message apart. There's a difference between possession and ownership.
Yeah.
Possession tells you it's yours, but you got to go take ownership of it. God said it's yours. Promised land is yours. All that, yours. But you got to take possession of it. And I was able to own my dream, an older gentleman. I will say this, being in the South, I'm not racist, but I got to say it this way because an older white gentleman said it. He said, hey, and he added the word boy. He said, hey, you over there at Carolina? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, oh, so you fulfilling your dream? I said, yep. He said, you know what a dream is, don't you? I said, well, I kind of. He said, a dream is a gift that you give to yourself. And I was able to fulfill mine by just playing the game of football. High school, I played 1 year JV, 4 years of high school. I was in college for 5. I was in the NFL for 7. And I got to fulfill and live my dream. And I might not have done it the way others would have, but I did it my way. And when you're your own standard, you never fail. So
Sterling, you've taught me a new phrase, not right now. So that's going to be I'm going to live by that. I mean, that's perfect. Not right now. It doesn't eliminate the options. That's perfect. Well, I just want to do a little, play pretend here. And just ask you, I mean, there's been changes to the game that coaches and owners, of the NFL have played a part in. OT rules, kickoffs, replay assists, all those things that they've played a part in making change. Let's just pretend if you were an owner or a coach, what would be some of the changes you would make to the game?
I would really love to answer that. I'm not sure that I can.
Okay.
The reason being is I have great memories of the way the game was played when I played. I would relish those rules. Okay. I understand the safety of the game. Let me tell you, the players today are bigger, they're stronger, and they're faster. Exactly. The players today have more access to a system that fits who they are and what they do than we did. The players today are better conditioned. They're put in better situations. They're better prepared than we ever were. I don't want to change their game because it's their game right now. I relish the way, the rules and what I played, and I came into the game I got the last 3 years of straight up, I don't need to go to the huddle, bump and run. It's me versus you for 4 quarters. And you are constantly filing away information. With the advent of the new spread offense where we got run pass options on everything, I think the players now have to be smarter than they do athletic. In my day, you had to be athletic and you had to be mentally, and I'm not challenging anyone's mental capacity, you had to be mentally strong because I'm straight up bump and run on every single play. And we ain't calling nothing, okay? We ain't calling anything. I don't want to change the rules of today because I don't play today. The memories I have of football are when I played, the rules that I played under. I didn't complain, and I would tell the officials, look, don't call anything on him because I'm going to do so much stuff to him it's going to average out. Don't call the thing.
That's true.
I would really be not the one to ask that question because I remember my playing days, and I wouldn't change the ruling or I played in an era where defenses could impose their will on you. I played against defenses where they made you make decisions. You knew when the play was called if you were going to make that right decision or not. They were able to impose their physical strength on you. Can't do that now. And so it's a little different. I don't dislike what little football I see, but I'm not going to cheapen their game by saying my game was better. I just love the era in which I played, and that's the memories I have.
That's great.
I'm going to make the case that it was better.
Back then?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because of the and unfortunately, I hate to say it this way, but the physicality of it and the way players played, they went out knowing that was how the game was going to be. You came into the game, and like you say, you know that there's going to be bump and run the whole game. I know I got to chase you all day. I know I'm going to win. I know I'm going to lose. I know there's going to be a tie. There's going to, and you accept that as what the game is. Today, I think they're better athletes. I think everything that you said, I think, is exactly right. I just don't know if they can appreciate what the game was. I think it's just the further back you go.
But that's the thing. They don't have to. Carl.
Yeah, they don't have to. They don't. You're right.
Because when I came in the league, I can't imagine Jim Marshall clotheslining me just because I'm standing there. I can't imagine that.
Right.
Bro, my mouth was open. You gonna hit me with my mouth open?
Right.
And so I think we as older players have to be careful because they have made or attempted to make our game safer.
Yes.
Not for the players playing right now, but for when they retire and they get to be my age at 60. What are they going through? I loved, at 224 pounds, I was like, you going to stand there for 4 quarters? Oh, this is ready to be real good. Oh, wait a minute. I want to see what you look like after standing there for 4 quarters. And so now, remember, the corners were long, they were big, they were physical. The safeties were even bigger.
Yeah.
So when you had the force block and you went in and Joey Browner saw you coming, you're like, well, guess what? The decision is, bro, the fine print say I got to come in there. So that's what the fine print said. You know what? Man, that was a physical game. Who you got next week? We got Denver. We got Steve Atwater and Dennis Smith.
Oh, my goodness.
It never showed. It never got better.
Hey, thank God we get to go home next week. Who you got? David Fulcher. Oh, my God. You got Rock at 260. But the thing is I appreciate that's what I had to do to play in that game. That's what my level of – I came into the league going, no, contact, I actually like contact. I can't quit on contact. But being an old Georgia farm boy, this ain't work. Work is when you don't have a shirt on. Work is when you standing out there and all you see is hay and or tobacco.
There you go.
Work is when you doing it for the family. When you work for the family, guess what you don't get? You don't get paid. So this ain't work. This here is not work. So I can stand a Mike Singletary. This is a slant. I'm coming in there. And guess what? You can't hit me. You're going to have to tackle me because if you hit me, it's going to be a gain of 30. Because if you don't make the tackle, Ronnie Lott certainly ain't making the tackle. Okay? So, that was the mentality that I had, which I love because, like I said, respect is given. The Bible teaches us that. I learned to respect everybody that was at that level because even though it wasn't my journey, everybody went on a journey to get there. And I appreciate everybody's journey. I really did.
Sterling, this is producer Matt. My family's all from up in Wisconsin, so we're all Packers fans.
I didn't really know that.
You are in the minority here.
I love it so much.
Sterling, you were talking a little bit ago about when Coach Mike Holmgren came in and how that kind of changed and a new system was put in place. I'm curious that for a couple of years there, you also got to play with Brett Favre when he took over as quarterback. In fact, you caught 45 touchdowns from him. I'm curious what things were like when he took over as quarterback. Did that change the way that you played the game any, or what was kind of the team vibe there?
No, I'm going to speak for me because I've had this question before. First of all, when Brett became our quarterback, he was just another quarterback.
That's fair.
Right? He was just another guy. What I loved playing with him was he threw firmer, not harder. He threw firmer. I played a lot with my back to the defense. So I played a lot in the middle. You know, you're running stops and in between linebackers and skinny seams. You want to be able to cheat. That's why I've never been hit in the face. When you can cheat because you know a ball is not going to move because it's windy in Lambeau, the ball's not going to move. One of the windier games we played in, we played in New York, I think in 92 or 93. And it was really windy, and I caught, I think, 11. But I caught 11 because he could throw it through the wind. And so playing with, I'm going to combine Mike because he brought hope. When I say hope, he came from San Francisco. You would be foolish not to know what they accomplished by the time we got Mike in 1992. And you knew he was calling the play. So he wasn't the architect of the system, but he was the architect of what they were doing. And so the hope was we're going to score points. We're not going to lose games 17-14, 13-10, 9-7. We ain't losing those games. We're not going to have any more of those. So he changed that hope. Okay, now if we can score 28, where does that put us? We know we're going to get off. We're going to probably score 24. Now, 24 in the 90s, let me tell you something. That's a track meet. That was a track meet in the 90s. If you're going to score 24. That's a track meet. So when Mike and Brett and all of that hope came together, we had to take off because now you got to look. Reggie White wants to come play with you. Sean Jones. Mm-hmm. Sean Jones wants to come play with you. People don't remember Sean Jones in Houston. Sean Jones was a monster. Sean Jones wants to come to Green Bay. You know, I make it – I always tell a story. If you've seen What's Love Got to Do with It, when Phil Spector said that he wanted to do a song with Tina, I was like Ike Turner. Yeah, Reggie White want to make a song with Ike and Tina. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, Sean Jones want to come to Green Bay and play with Ike and Tina. You know, so the hope changed because now these people want to come to Green Bay and play football. Green Bay, when I first got there, was the NFL graveyard. Mm-hmm. If you went to Green Bay as a veteran, your career was over. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple, short and sweet. And so all that hope and change kind of happened at once. And so now you start to get the free. Hey, look, remember now, Charles Woodson came to Green Bay and played.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you see, when you start to change the hope and you start to change the mentality of the players to where not we wish or we hope we can win. It's like, well, they are going to score 30. We just have to give up 29. We give up 29, we win. And so all that rush kind of started to flow into Green Bay from about 93 on until I'll say AR left a couple years ago. And so when you have that, and I think when I look at my Green Bay Packers now, and I'm saying this, I don't watch a lot of football, but they are 2 players away of hope to where they get in a game against Philly and they're not trying to win or hoping to win. They go out, do what they need to do. They're 2 players away of changing that mentality, I believe. And I don't know what position those 2 players are. I'm just saying that's what I know because I lived it here at South Carolina. I lived it when I came here. I lived it in Green Bay. And I think when you can get that, we got a Brett Favre. Nobody knew who he was, what he brought to the table. He was a lot like me. He enjoyed playing football. It wasn't a game. It wasn't work. It wasn't, I'm just, hey, man, Sterling, you running the curl? Yeah. I mean, and I've told this story. Well, Brett told this story first. I would have never told this story. When he first came in the game against Cincinnati in 1992, he didn't know the signals. I called all the plays. And they couldn't understand. Mike couldn't understand how I knew the signals, and I wasn't even quarterback me through. But the thing was,
awesome.
It was so wonderful to be in that group with Brett and Don Mikowski, Ty Detmer, Mark Brunell, Kurt Warner. I had Kurt Warner for a training camp. Man, just being around guys like that, learning, and more importantly, laughing, because trying to win a game wasn't a struggle. Trying to win a game was fun. I mean, in the 90s, my last few years, trying to win a game was fun because we knew we had a system offensively. We knew we were building a system defensively. We had Reggie White and Sean Jones, just to name a few, Leroy Butler in the backfield. It was just a matter of time before it came together. And when it came together, you're like, they're going to be here for a while. Now, I mean, this ain't a one-hit wonder. When this comes together, they're going to be here for a while.
Yeah. I have one last question for you, Sterling, because we know you're a busy guy. You have lots to do.
He's got nothing to do.
No, I'm planning on actually, since everybody there.
Okay. Well, we'll let you get back to. We'll let you watch. We'll let you watch Jeopardy, whatever it is you have to do. But so my question is, I know that after you retired, you entered the broadcast booth, and you were an analyst for ESPN for a few years, and then you were also a studio analyst for the NFL Network. Are you still currently doing that? I thought you were, but maybe not.
No, I am completely retired. Actually, you guys are bothering me on my day off from being retired.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you. So, did you have any challenges moving from the field to the broadcast booth?
No.
Did you find that not at all?
No. And I don't mean to sound racial, but I came up in racial times.
Right.
The white American dream was you go to college, you get your degree, so you can compete for a job, okay? I did that. I just happened to play football on the side. I got my degree.
Sure.
I don't know what I can do, but you said that this degree would allow me to knock on someone's door and say, this is what I can do for your company. To show you how ironic my life has been, will be. I didn't talk to the press as a media when I played. I didn't talk to the media. So how did I end up at ESPN? Because it wasn't that I couldn't talk. I just didn't think that as a young player, I didn't think I was being treated fairly when you asked me a question. If you say to me, Carl said that you might have been the slowest receiver he ever covered, I got to address what Carl said. You're not asking me about me and my struggles and what I'm dealing with, what I'm going through. So if you come to me and say my head coach says at 220 you're too big to play receiver, what am I going to say? He don't know what he's talking about. You know what? What we need to do is get a new head coach up in here. That's what we need to do. No. I'm going to address that. If he said that, then I guess we need to get on a plan where we can lose some weight. I just thought it was unfair to me. If you want to know about me, leading me with someone else's question. That was half of it. The other half is when I left South Carolina after training in the heat and understanding what the NFL brought to the table and what it was, and I was comfortable in our system, I was like, they're going to want to talk to me. And I ain't going to have nothing to say. But I never said no. I would always say, not right now. Hey, Sterling, can we talk to you? Not right now, guys. I would go get in the shower and get dressed, and the guys would be like, hey, can we talk to you? Not right now, guys. I'd get in my car and go home, come back the next day. Hey, Sterling, not right now, guys. That's how. I
love that. That is my new phrase. Forever.
I have heard him say that to 1,000 people with me and him being together.
Yes.
I literally.
What about my other favorite? How can you tell a kid no? Well, first of all, they didn't tell your kid no, and I say no to my kid. If I can say no to my kid, it's real easy to tell your kid no. So you just going to have to hang in there. Okay?
See me at another time when I might say yes.
Exactly. But no, my NFL career, my time playing football has been so wonderful. And like I said, I've made some tremendous friends, and Carl Lee and his wife Donna and son Dominique and his mom and his family have been wonderful to me. In the years and the summers and the springs, I would come up to Charleston when he was coaching in Charleston there at the school, West Virginia State. It was just so much fun to be around people that loved doing what they were doing. And there's a lot of people doing a job, but they're not doing what they want to do. When you're around people who do what they want to do, it's infectious. You want to be around that. You want to understand their journey and their walk. You want to go, well, I don't want to make my walk better. I just want to know about your walk and how you did this and how you got here and, what hills and did you have any obstacles and all. I mean, it was just so, and like Carl, and I can't even tell you the last time I saw Carl, but anytime we get on the phone, it's 15 seconds of serious and 45 minutes of laughter.
No.
That's just the way we are. And I don't have to talk to him for another 2 months. And it's just like I talked to him yesterday. But that's what I learned about life in sports is that if you end up chasing someone else's dream, you are going to be a miserable cuss when it's all said and done. And you're going to feel like you're going to hate people for not seeing your career the way you see it. You're going to hate people for thinking that, as a matter of fact, I was in the doctor's office today, and the guy was like, hey, can I bring my buddy in here who he's just signed in to be a doctor here? I'm like, sure. Doctor goes, hey, name the 3 greatest Gamecocks. He goes, George Rogers, Sidney Rice, Alshon Jeffrey. Then he walked in and sees me. And he goes, oh, my God, I can't believe I left. Why? That's your list. I can't be mad at your list. I just want you to know, though, ain't nobody wore number 2 since 1987. I ain't saying those other guys ain't good. I'm just saying that nobody's wore number 2 since 1980. Now, George's number is retired, and the number 2 is retired. Those other guys are outstanding players. I don't know if they're there yet, but I like your list. That's all I'm saying. I like your list.
Well, let me close us out by first, Sterling. I want to make sure people are aware of our friendship has been started on the field, but ended up, I really believe, in his opportunity to come to West Virginia State when I was the head coach. He brought uniforms home and away.
Oh, wow.
We played a couple of games down in South Carolina, or maybe it was in North Carolina, and
no,
North
South and South.
Yeah,
North
we
and
can. So
South.
yes, so he put us up, like the whole hotel bill, he covered it.
That's amazing
for us. To me, when you look at that told me then, if I didn't know on the field, the fun that we had on the field, the conversations that we had after that, if I didn't know he was a friend and a great friend and a great person, that was enough.
Right.
Because who does that? You know what I'm saying? And come down.
He could have said not right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the guys that played, Snooty, Arnett, Hump,
yeah.
all those guys, they...
Roy?
Yeah.
What about Roy? Yeah. What about Hollis?
Hollis, yes. I mean, those guys remember.
Oh, Hollis.
Yes, Hollis was there too.
Yeah.
And all those guys remember that. And what I'm proud of is for them, they're thinking in their mind, man, we met Sterling Sharpe.
Yeah.
And not only did we meet him, we became his friend. He became our friend, and he did all these things for us. He'd show up on away games anywhere close to South Carolina, North Carolina. He was going to show up. He was going to be at the hotel, you know.
Oh, came to an October game at West Virginia. Hey, not going to do that again. But yeah, came to a winter game at West Virginia Tech. Like, what?
I hope they bought you like a Yellow Jacket jersey or some commemorative piece of.
And you know what, Carl? That had nothing to do with me or you, because me and you were both those guys. We were those kids, man.
Yep.
We were looking for help. I'm like, I went from when I was younger, based on how we grew up and where we came from, I was looking for a hand. And I think based on how I saw our situation or how we saw our situation, that looking for a hand turned into a handout, because that's what we need.
Yep.
And we went from a handout to a hand. And I didn't have to vow or had to promise or, if I don't have to do that. I'm like, look, somebody asked me for help, I'm helping. Now, I might not be able to help the way you want,
right? But
I'm going to help. And I just think that is a direct result in how we were raised. That's a direct result of the people that were in my life. As, like I said, when I was following, I got a chance to follow some tremendous leaders who did not lead from the front. I wish young people would stop believing that to be a leader, you got to yell the loudest, you got to run the fastest, or you got to lift the most weight. You don't get to pick and choose when you're going to be a leader. You can't be a leader if you're flunking algebra. It's not possible. It don't work that way.
Carl.
You can't be a leader if you're not going to listen to your parents. Okay? It don't work that way. You can't be a leader if you can't lead devotional service on Sunday at your church. You don't get to pick and choose when you're going to be a leader. You either are
or you're not,
or you are acting.
Oh,
this is your life.
I like it.
There are many like it, but this one is yours. And a lot of people have ownership. They just don't take possession of their own lives.
Well, Brad, I truly, truly, truly appreciate you coming on, and
thank you so much.
Great. We'll catch up again, man.
Hey, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna need to get some of that money back. I'm glad you brought that up. There's a couple of hotel bills I'm gonna need reimbursement on right now. I didn't want to say anything publicly, but you were trying to rush me off the phone, so I had to get it in.
Right, it'll be in the mail. It's in the mail.
Checks in the mail.
Okay,
Checks in the mail.
You ain't changed at all. Guys, thank you for having me on, guys.
Thank you so much, Sterling. It was great.
All right.
Have a great night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close out. Lisa, I don't know what else we could say.
That's an amazing soul right there.
Yes, it is.
The whole story. Loved
All right, we will get back with you again next week. We're out.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker and the all-new historic Quarrier Diner. Comment on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee, and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service, and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee.
All right, cats and kittens, have you heard? The Quarrier Diner is back. Step into the classic vibe of one of Charleston's most historic restaurants. Don't miss the daily Blue Plate specials. Breakfast served all day, every day, and free parking. With an outdoor patio covered for the summer, an elegant basement bar, and customizable event space, 1022 Quarrier Street offers an experience unlike any other. Open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit QuarrierDiner.com for all the need to know and relive the good times at the Quarrier Diner.
Let's face it, bad things happen to good people. Seriously injured in a car accident, trucking accident, or even wrongfully arrested. Life happens, and when it happens to you, you will need sound legal advice and aggressive representation. That's when you call attorney Frank Walker at 304-413-0179. That's 304-413-0179. Lock it in your phone, text it to a friend. 304-413-0179. Or visit online at attorneyfrankwalker.com.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.